Hello, Weekend Crafter. Welcome back to the Craft Time Studio. It's the fourth week of the month again, which means that I'll be sharing another color recipe. This time, I want to share with you some color ideas for autumn. For the first custom color, you will need Fimo Effects in Sapphire Blue, Sculpey Soufflé in Blown Royalty, Sculpey Primo in Slate Gray, and Sculpey White. First, let's start with conditioning about 3/4 white with about 1/16 of sapphire blue. Fimo is notorious for being a hard clay to condition, so I do love to mix it with softer brands like Sculpey. Some makers will advise you to add a few drops of baby oil to your hard clay in order to soften them up, which is also something that you can do to make it easier to work with. As you can see, I like adding my darker colors slowly so that I can get a gauge of whether I should be adding more colors in. If you are in the part of the world that is currently enjoying summer, you might be wondering why I am sharing autumn color recipes so early in the season. Makers tend to plan around seasons, so it is very typical for us to stay a season or two ahead of our planned releases so that we can also have enough time to take pictures and market them appropriately. So if you are just a beginner maker, put this in mind when you're planning for your year. Next, I add 1/16 blown royalty. Finally, add 1/8 of gray slate. You can tell that it really takes a lot of conditioning to incorporate colors, which is why the tray table that I'm working on seems to be walking away from the camera. If you are like me and you love customizing your colors, a good investment is getting a pasta roller. It is really easier on the hands and wrists, especially if you're working with clay often enough. A good sturdy table is also a good investment. And there you have it. I present to you Parisian Blue with undertones of violet and gray. For the next color, I cut a very thin slice from my Parisian Blue, about 1/4 in ratio, and combine it with 2/4 white. By the way, you don't have to buy the brands that I used to come up with similar colors. If you have other brands that you are loyal to, and they are about the same use, you can use these as well. My advocacy has always been not to throw away what we have, but make the most out of them. It so happens that these are the brands that are most available to me. Once the colors are fully incorporated, mix 1/8 slate gray and 1/8 blown royalty to get this powdery blue color. For the third color, get about 3/4 white. Bring out the slate gray again and primo fuchsia. Cut a sliver of fuchsia and mix it with white. Because my fuchsia again was one of my hard colors, it took a while to get it to incorporate with my white. But after a lot of conditioning, the two colors finally blended. After this, I mixed in about 1/8 gray slate. I added a little bit more fuchsia and gray towards the end. As you can tell, this is also when I noticed that my table was going way off frame, so I finally gave it a little nudge to go back to where it was supposed to be. And there you have it, some Heirloom Lilac, which is a beautiful color to pair with the other blues. This time, I will be mixing the colors that I was a bit doubtful with at first. Get about 3/4 white with sunflower yellow. I honestly don't know what brand this is. I think this was one of the clay that I got from a kit. But I made an approximation after checking the Fimo website, and sunflower yellow is the closest match to this. Mix these two colors until fully combined. Then, get about 1/8 wasabi green. Again, this is an approximate equivalent of this unknown brand, and I think it's a pretty close match. Looking at my color palette might make you wonder why I called my video Autumn Color Recipes. I have used in the past more traditional autumn colors. I placed a link above in case you want to check them out. But this time, I wanted to go out of my comfort zone and do one with unconventional colors. And even though at first I was second-guessing myself, especially with this green, when I put them all together, I was rather surprised with how much I love the combination. I am calling this color Green Sheen. And finally, we're mixing my main slab color. I mixed 6/8 white with 1/8 primo in gray granite and just a sliver of my Parisian to get this dusty white color. As always, I do a test bake of my colors. And I'm happy to report that I love the results. I also wanted to share with you a test slab that I made using all these colors. I hope that you enjoyed watching. I'm Ange, and if you haven't yet, do consider liking and subscribing to the Craft Time Studio. Have a crafty week ahead. Bye!